Hi, welcome to Matt Holman Golf. I thought I'd look at Thongchai Jaidee today. I've just been at the recent event at Qatar, and he was hitting shots on the range next to one of the guys I teach, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get his swing on camera. One thing I noticed with a lot of the guys out there, and that's really I think where the modern swing's gone. I think when I used to go to tournaments maybe 15 years ago, you would see actually more guys drawing the ball. Actually European tour wise, I was making an effort to watch the ball flights. There wasn't too many draws there. I've seen some actually over exaggerated fades at times, but everyone sort of moved towards this slight fade. I think that's definitely Thongchai here, and on his bad shot, watching him, it's a little bit overly faded. So I think just doing some research on him, 19 wins, 13 on the Asian tour, 8 on the European tour, so definitely works. Quite interesting person. He's a little taller and stronger and bigger built than I was expecting, and his strike was really a very picked strike. There wasn't lots of shuffling through impact, although again when I've looked at the face on, I couldn't get a face on, unfortunately. Hands were still clearly leading the club head, but he's really sort of picking the ball off the turf. At times it even seemed like he was hitting a groove or two low from his wedge play all through to his iron play, and you can really see his divots there. I mean, he was there most probably for a good hour, and that's about all the divots he made, so he's sort of bruising the grass. So in terms of his golf swing, he really does all the things that I'd like to see in a golf swing, especially to hit this consistent fade. So I really wanted to get his swing on camera just to see what was actually happening when we slowed it down, and it was very much what we tend to see of a lot of these good players. It's a very orthodox setup. He's just slightly left aimed. He was aiming at that 100 marker out here, and he was just hitting little cuts. I think he had about a 6-iron here, sort of just left of the target, and then they were drifting onto it, and the wind was a little bit off the left there, so I think that's why we see him slightly more left aimed. So what I noticed with him, it's very much arms in front of his body. If anything, the arms just slightly move away from his body, but very nice line. Club stays very much outside the hands. He has some angle in the club face, so it's a very simple modern golf swing here really. Goes ahead, sets the club nicely. Again, left arm very much out in front of his body at the moment, and then as he gets to the top, it will slightly work behind him. Hand will, the glove hand, so will end up over that right shoulder. And then what I really like is just this sequence down. For me, this is the heartbeat. This is the key, sort of non-negotiable. Really, there's not too much room for individuality here, and this really is as good as it gets. Knees are parallel to his feet halfway down, so there's no sort of spinning out there. Left side clearing quickly. You can see how passive he is through the right foot. Shaft now points really nicely at the ball to just above, and these are really for me the essentials to consistent ball striking. And now that club shaft just starts to work down his right forearm. Club's nicely out in front of him here, with the face starting to look down. So we can see if we take him a couple of frames back here, he's not fully sort of toe up as he comes into the ball. The face actually has some angle looking at the ground, so he hasn't got to go ahead now and rotate the face too aggressively, and this is what you see. He just turns the chest very well through a stable lower body, and again, as impact goes, that's as good as it gets. The left side's firming, but you can still see some softness through the left knee. The right foot just starts to come off the ground. The forearms create a silhouette, and then he goes ahead now and swings around that left hip pocket. Club face is really passive here, and to me this is a lot of the reason for his sort of longevity out on tour and consistency under pressure. Now he swings back left. Again, this classic, we go 1-2 frames back here. So heartbeat the swing for me is halfway down to halfway through, and we can see that club face nicely looking back at the camera. And this for me is what you see in most of the real consistent faders of the ball, largely what's being taught in the modern swing, and Hogan was the first one really to talk about this. Now from about here, from this point, he actually allows that right hand to roll over, so very quickly, a couple of frames later, it looks like he's sort of roll release, but he actually hasn't. It's very much a what we call an under release, passive release. Then when he gets up to about halfway through that ball's largely gone there, and he allows that toe of the club to release over and into a really solid balanced finish.